we agree that wage earners should make a higher wage. But the additional protections, as they call it, built in there are really problematic for the business community and those employers, especially those employers that actually don't even have minimum wage workers because they pay well above that.
Can you give us some ideas on what some of the protections are that wave a red flag for you?
Well, it requires the city of Tucson to hire someone that essentially is the wage police, where businesses would need to submit their payroll to the city so that they can guarantee that they are paying above minimum wage. And secondarily, there's what we believe to be a conflict of federal law because it does not allow employers to pay wages using a social security number. Well, as you know, employers pay into Social Security as well as those employees. So, how can they do that without using a Social Security number? It's little pieces like that. Whistleblower, where it incentivizes employees to uh, essentially rat out their employer without giving the employer protections of it being a legitimate cause or case as well.
It sounds like you can see the value in trying to get more money for wage earners, but you have those concerns. Is there a way to kind of achieve some sort of balance given that this measure will be before voters in November?
There are. I mean, for one, workforce development. If we really want to lift up our employees and especially those families that, are struggling, let's invest in workforce development and let them gain the skills that truly earn a higher wage, not a higher minimum wage, but a competitive working wage to make them more sustainable and really truly create a livable wage.
When you think of minimum wage, who do you see performing those minimum wage jobs? Is it a younger demographic?
It is. So if you just look at Department of Labor statistics, about half of them are under the age of 23. So what does that mean? Who are those poor people? Very definitely those high schoolers that are getting their first job and building those soft skills necessary that they will need once they get out of school and start looking for full-time employment and going to college or whatever that path is.
This initiative had some early momentum, garnering something like almost 30,000 signatures to get on the ballot in just a handful of months. What is going to be the defense that you and your supporters mount moving into November?
Well, what we'd like is a community conversation, and not just local, but statewide. A statewide or a federal approach is how you really should handle this so that you can then create and standardize, create the normalizing of what those wages are. It reduces that competition and fighting, but then you can also bring in those industries and discuss those areas such as tip pooling and things like that, that again levels the playing field for our employers.
Small businesses tend to be some of the louder voices when they hear of a minimum wage increase. What sorts of supports will you be offering as the chamber to guide them through how this evolves?
Well, for us, it's going to have to be offsetting those higher costs. If this passes, one of those things that those small businesses will choose to do are reduce the hours of those minimum wage workers. And not just the minimum wage workers. You need to talk about compression issues as well, to where everyone within a company is going to have to be paid more because you have to be able to differentiate the higher level of skills and that lowest wage is sort of your baseline. But you know what else happens? That pass through costs, rent, groceries, your menu items, all of those basic costs are going to go up. So employees might, in theory, make a higher wage due to this, but they're going to be paying more to actually live. So it's going to be up to us to be able to figure out ways to reduce those higher costs for ultimately not the employers, but those employees.
Okay, Amber Smith from the Tucson Metro Chamber. Thank you.
Thanks, Lorraine.